carries from inside the 10. I think that, every aspect of this game for Latavius Murray was positive, and I think he's back in that zone where you can use him when they're in plus matchups, even if it is still a little bit scary at times.
Yeah, I would definitely think that the way he's going to be used is really more of a tournament option than a cash game option out there. But if you want to get fancy, maybe there's a matchup we can find later down the road here with Latavius Murray being viable someplace. On the Jaguars side, Blake Tebow played another terrifying game.
He's not good, is he?
No.
It's bad. He lost 6.34 passing net expected points on 43 dropbacks against one of the worst defenses in the entire league. And that's really killing Allen Robinson. But also the usages, too, for A-Rob. It's a concern. It's not just Blake Bortles, but his usage, too. His target market share is down to 23.6%. And he's a guy you would expect to see around 26 or so. And he's not there right now. Allen Hurns is taking away red zone targets. Marquise Lee has 6 targets in 5 consecutive games. And what that does is it really takes away from Allen Robinson's floor. I think that, he's still a player who's going to have a ceiling, but you need to generate touchdown drives for him to have that ceiling. And the Jaguars just aren't doing that right now. So I think that it's not just Blake Bortles who's a concern, but he really does hurt Allen Robinson quite a bit. And I'm officially worried about A-Rob. I probably should have been before. I was a bit slow on this, I'll admit. But it's after this week, it's really hard not to be just, pushing the panic button.
You mentioned some guys who are hurting Allen Robinson's value. I don't think nobody's hurting his value more than Allen Robinson. He was the worst rated wide receiver, according to our friends over at Pro Football Focus this week. So, quite frankly, Allen Robinson's just not playing very well either. It's really compounding. 9 different receivers getting targets, at least 2 from Bortles this week. It's just really not good in Jacksonville. And I'm going to unfortunately need to see something before I can trust in them again anytime soon. In New York, the Jets took down the Ravens by a score of 24-16. And in this particular contest, it was Geno Smith getting hurt early on that really affected this game.
Yeah, it did. And I think that the win may have affected it too, because the Jets seemed like they just wanted to pound the ball on the ground, and Matt Forte was a big winner there. He had 30 of 34 running back carries. He also had 4 targets, and he outsnapped Bilal Powell 84% to 13%. That's a huge reverse from what we had seen in previous weeks. But what this does do for the Jets is it shows us what they're going to do when they're in positive game flow. They're going to feed Matt Forte, and they're going to keep Bilal Powell on the sidelines. And I think that this is one of those situations where you kind of know what you're going to get, which is good. So if you can predict the game flow, you can know whether or not you're going to want to use Matt Forte. You can know whether or not Bilal Powell will be in play if they're, huge underdogs. So it's kind of like a Jeremy Hill, Gio Bernard situation, except with more clarity, which I think from a fantasy sense is very good. The one concern I would have about Forte is that the Jets center, Nick Mangold, left with an injury. He was already pretty banged up. He sustained a different injury, I believe, than the one he had previously. So it's hurting Forte. The Jets lost 6 points on